Okay, apparently I'm live. There you go. That's a fun little intro. What's going on, everyone? My name is Dan Davis, and I'm the creative director here at DansTube.TV, as well as the Fearless Drone Academy, which is the ultimate online drone course for beginners. And we've got a new drone that is just about to be announced from DJI. It's an FPV drone. We've already seen a fair few leaks, which seems to be commonplace now for DJI. But you can see here DJI's official website. The event is called Born to Fly. It's 11 p.m. here in Brisbane. The event goes live at 9 a.m. EDT, which works out to be 11 p.m. It's just hit 11 p.m. So let's all see it together right now. I would imagine that by the time my video goes live, actually probably right now, I would imagine that like there's 20, 30 videos that are already live of people testing out this brand new, here it is, FPV drone, which is the DJI Avata. I want to say Avatar every time I say it. Avatar. But DJI Avata, Born to Fly. It's looking slick. It's looking like a little mini FPV drone. So I like to do these videos, these little live streams. I'll be testing out this product as the weeks go on when I get my hands onto it. But I like to do these as kind of like a live announcement as we all get to see what's going on. You can then go and watch, the video or whatever it is. Go and check out the intro video. Go and check out the specs later on yourself. Let's jump into the video though right now. I'm going to mute this one. Looks like it's muted. Perfect. So let's go full screen. So what have we got? Beautiful locations. The production quality from DJI is next level, honestly. Damn, look at that thing. It's a tiny little thing. So here it is, the DJI Avata. Shot on DJI Avata. Here we go. This is going to open up, hopefully, another FPV world for a lot of people. This could maybe be a bit more affordable, hopefully, than the other FPV drone that we saw from DJI. So these are the new goggles. They look a little bit more slick. Looks like 2 antennas as opposed to the 4 that we saw. Kind of had like the 4 antennas with the other. 1080p micro OLED screen. Damn, that's insane. Okay. DJI Motion Controller, which we saw. Yeah, that thing looks awesome, that motion controller. Intuitive control looks pretty much like the same controller. Don't know whether it's any different. Yeah, that'd be sketchy as using the controller to fly through that tight little area. Oh, cool. That was a nice little overlay. Cool. So they're really pushing that motion controller. And seeing as it's like a cinewhoop or whatever they call them, the mini FPV drones, I guess it is designed to get some really nice tight shots in houses, like close little environments. Okay, so it's a 1/1.7 inch image processor, 48 megapixel, did I see that? We'll check through the specs very soon. Ultra wide, 155 degree field of view. That's pretty epic. Yeah, these videos are next level, I swear. Okay, 4K at 50 or 60 FPS. Nice. 2.7K up to 120 FPS. Only with DJI FPV goggles. Okay, so there's limitations without that. Supports electronic stabilization. Oh, so they're calling it Rocksteady, which is in the Osmo Action. And Pocket. Horizon Steady. Yeah, that palm-sized design is awesome. Damn, look at that thing. I hope it's as easy as they show it, like to fly it. I'm sure there'll be some like true acro modes for all the FPV nuts out there. But hopefully, like DJI did with their previous, the built-in prop guards are cool as well. That was a cool shot. Yeah, like DJI have done with their previous FPV drones. I guess they've made it so it's consumer friendly, but then they've also got that acro or that full manual mode for FPV pilots who want to get those freestyle shots. So it looks like it's the best of both worlds, which is cool. The emergency brake button, which is the same as the DJI FPV. So by the looks of it, this is kind of like the mini version, or hopefully the cheaper version of an FPV alternative. Turtle mode, which is very common for FPV pilots, when you can just sit like a turtle and then flip over. Downward vision and TOF sensor. Return to home. So all of those DJI things that we come to expect. So max video transmission. I'm missing a lot of this. We're going to have to go through the specs. Image quality up to 1080p, 100 frames per second. Whew. Max video bitrate is 50 megabits per second. Latency as low as 30 milliseconds, I'd imagine that was. 18 minutes of flight time, which is decent for FPV. Probably doesn't sound like a lot for other DJI enthusiasts out there that have consumer drones, but that's decent for FPV. Damn, this is such an epic video. Born to Fly, look at that, and that's the ending. Very cool. DJI Avata. Cool, so now that we've kind of seen some of those specs, we can now check out their website. So we've got the immersive flight experience with the headset. Obviously that's a new headset that we've got here. Going to be interesting to see how that goes. A bit more of a like streamlined design by the looks of it. Probably also a bit lighter and probably more comfortable because it's not as heavy weighing down on your face. The intuitive motion controller, which was already seen before. I don't know whether it's a new one or if it's the same thing just packaged with this new drone. 4K stabilized video, which you would come to expect. Yeah, keen to see what all of that looks like. It definitely looks a little smoother than maybe some other FPV drones out there. Palm size and agile as you would expect. The built-in propeller guards, that makes me think like obviously it's designed to be flown in like some tighter areas, and it's potentially designed in a way where it is to be flown inside, you know, like for real estate videos, or as you saw flying between people's legs or through hoops. Like it really does open up a lot of options there. The fact it's got OcuSync 3 Plus, which is what we saw with the Mavic 3. So that's really cool, because obviously OcuSync 3 is something we've seen previously, OcuSync 2, but OcuSync 3 Plus has only been available to the Mavic 3 up until this point by the looks of it. So HD low latency transmission. Discover a freedom that comes from being airborne. Their websites are insane. Like the web development on Apple websites and DJI websites is next level. So cool. Look at that intuitive. As I'm scrolling, it's just kind of going through all the different titles. So follow your instincts. I'm still scrolling. Dare to fly. Still scrolling. There we go. So that's the new design. Does look quite interesting. You definitely look like a bug with those two little antennas up there. Feel the rush from the cockpit. The sky's your playground. So when you combine Avata with the goggles and motion controller, flight becomes accessible to all. Experience the thrill of total immersion. Yeah, so that's something that we definitely have seen before. I do wonder, like, who is this targeted at? Is this for the FPV pilots, the serious ones, or is this for people who want to get into FPV, like the consumers who own other drones that might want to dabble with FPV? I always do wonder what DJI's angle is and what they're trying to appeal to here. Maybe they're trying to appeal to both audiences, where agility meets toughness. So a lot of this we've seen. We kind of just want to scroll through this a bit. I was curious on the camera details. Okay, so D-Cine-like, which is cool, color mode. It's a 1/1.7 inch sensor, very cool. 4K 60 FPS, again very cool. 155 degree super wide field of view. So that is like, that's some hectic angle right there. That's freaking awesome. Horizon steady as well as rock steady. So it looks like it's going to create some very smooth shots, but you're going to have the, I guess, the agile elements of FPV, and you're going to be able to get those tight, interesting movements, but while having those extremely stable shots. So that's going to be pretty cool to see what that all looks like. I guess you can see here, oh, that's crazy, that shot. What was that? That was insane. 155 degree, yeah, that's very epic. So smooth shooting. So this is with Rocksteady off and on. Okay, so you can obviously turn it off if you wanted to. Definitely looks a lot smoother when it's on, which is expected. But I guess some people still, want to have that more natural look, so they don't want to have the digital stabilization. So you can disable that. And Horizon Steady just keeps the the horizon steady, as the name suggests. So that's cool that we get both of these. And both of these features are like Osmo Action terms. So if you've seen any of the Osmo Action content out there, like that's what they're using. Rocksteady and Horizon Steady is the terminology they use with those camera systems. So it looks like it's made its way over here. D-Cine-like, which is a nice addition, nice color profile to play with, a bit flatter, gives you a lot more dynamic range and detail. So you can really play around with your colors, which is very cool again. It does look cool. Like, what are our thoughts on the design of it? It looks really cool. I love it. And the prop guards, actually, do make me think that, like, for me, who's never really flown FPV properly, like I have with other drones a while ago, you can find that on the channel. But even when I got the DJI FPV, it wasn't my drone, it was just like a lone unit that I had. So I didn't fully dive into, you know, FPV properly. I kind of just played around with the auto mode, whatever they called it, the mode that basically it still hovers for you, as most other DJI drones do. So I was playing around with that because, like, it wasn't my drone, didn't want to damage it, didn't know how to fly FPV properly, but maybe I'd be more confident with something like this where I have the prop guards and I can maybe test it inside a little bit. You know, I could get used to it in an environment where it's only going to drop onto carpet and it's not actually going to destroy the device itself. So could be cool to see. Could be a cool way for a lot of people to get into the FPV space, which is something I've mentioned it in previous videos. It's something I would love to see, and DJI look like they're putting their feet into this industry, like heavily diving into it now with another FPV drone. So let's smash through all of this. Turtle mode, which again is a very common thing. So if it falls on its back, activate turtle mode with a few simple taps and watch it spring back into action. So the fact that it's got like a roll cage design with the prop guards means that you can do that without damaging the drone. A lot of FPV drones can do that. So that's cool that they've thought about that. Fly where others can't, which again is the whole thing, because it's so tiny you can get some crazy perspectives, which, as you can see from some of these videos here, that's what they're going for, and a lot of them are indoors. So as we're scrolling down, that's a cool shot. Look at that one. Confidence born from safety. Yep, so we get downward obstacle sensing system. So only one-way obstacle sensing by the looks of it, but that's good. Below, I mean, that's, yeah, pretty helpful to have anything at all. Who said safety isn't fun? Less flight anxiety. The motion controller emergency brake button lets you stop on a dime at the tap of a button, which is cool. Low altitude flight. So low altitude flight and safety glide combined with a super creates an exhilarating one-of-a-kind perspective, and then you've got the halt and hover. So there's a lot of like buzzwords, a lot of marketing words in here. So yeah, it does feature the flagship OcuSync 3 Plus, which again, only available on the Mavic 3 up until this point. Video transmission and 2 transmitters and 2 receivers by the looks of it. Omnidirectional antennas, which is cool. So you are going to get reliable, consistent range from it. And to have OcuSync 3, you're going to get crazy distance out of it as well, which is awesome. And here are the details for all of that. So 1080p is the transmission quality you're going to get to the headset. 100 frames per second is the video transmission you're going to get. So it's going to be buttery smooth. Like up until this point, 60 FPS was the best we'd seen from DJI, which was on the Mavic 3. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was on the Mavic 3. So we've got 100 frames per second, 30 milliseconds, I would imagine, lowest video transmission latency, 10 kilometer range, which is insane. Like with the Mavic 3, I believe it's quoted at 15 kilometers with OcuSync 3 Plus. 10 kilometers is well and truly enough. You've got to keep it in line of sight anyway. So even flying like, 300-400 meters away, like you're going to be fine, basically. So that's really cool to see. All of that, H.265 and then 50 megabits per second, all pretty standard. 50 megabits per second seems a little low, to be honest, but I don't know, we'll have to see how all of that goes. Yeah, we've got some other cool stuff over here. What's this? Is this a simulator? Yeah, the DJI Virtual Flight app, which I tested. I did some videos, or a video on the channel showcasing that. It's a good way to practice through an application. I believe you just connect it up to your controller as well, so then you can test it properly, which is really cool. And here it is. So these are the main selling points they're pushing: immersive flight, intuitive control, 4K stabilized video, palm-sized and agile, built-in propeller guard, and the OcuSync 3 Plus transmission. Ooh, it's not cheap. Ooh, that's not cheap. 1,629. Is that for just... That's Australian. Is that for one battery? What are we saying here? Oh, it's nearly $2,000. 2,000 Australian dollars if you want the ProView combo, which are the new goggles, the motion controller, and that's it basically. Or if you want the Fly Smart combo that comes with maybe some other things. What else have you got? Making it a cost-effective choice for immersive flight. And then just the no RC for $799. Wow, so a bit more expensive than I thought it would be. Still like epic, but I mean, it's not cheap. You do want to hope that it's going to be able to, handle a few bumps. You really want to hope that it's easy to repair, because that's the whole thing with FPV. It needs to be modular. It needs to be built out. You need to be able to, remove things and add things back in and tweak things and repair things. So yeah, hopefully it's going to be able to withstand. You would hope so with the prop guards and the way it's designed. So that will be very interesting to see how people go with that. I'm sure I can already see the videos popping up of people going, I've already crashed my drone, my DJI Avata, or crashed once, did it survive, and it may have damaged something, they've got to replace something. It looks like it doesn't really come with too many extra parts, so they're banking on this being quite a stable, sturdy unit. The way it's designed, you can see that the propellers are well and truly protected. The battery's on top there. The camera looks like it does protrude a little bit, so you do worry whether it makes contact with the camera, if it's going to damage it. I mean, these things you would hope would have been tested for months, if not years, by DJI to make sure that, they've done their R&D, their research and development, to make sure this is a stable little unit here. But overall, very exciting stuff. It's looking like a very cool unit overall. For me, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, FPV is not something I've really dabbled into. I've done a lot of interviews with FPV pilots. I've been heavily invested in that space, in the sense that I've had a clothing brand focused on a lot of FPV content, connected with a lot of FPV pilots that do compete, and all amazing people. They all love their sport that they do. They all love practicing. They love the freestyle side of things. And I've always been excited and a little bit envious of them, just because it's one of those things. It takes a little bit of, it takes a lot of research to figure it all out. And if you're going to build it yourself, and how to fix it and all those things. So it looks like DJI have tried to come into the market with a product here that anyone can pick up by the looks of it. I mean, that's what they seem to be marketing it as, which is exciting, because if it is something that, I can test, and I've never truly tested FPV, I've only flown it very briefly. And let's just say that the drone crashed and damaged it and then never repaired it in the end. But I did get a few little flights out of it a little while ago. This was years and years ago. So yeah, if I can test it with limited experience, if I can go into that FPV mode and test it and actually get some cool shots and recommend it to you, then that it's going to be something that's perfect for the person who hasn't flown FPV and wants to try to fly FPV. Because I do want to test it and I want to hit it around. I want to see how it goes with someone who's a beginner. I'm literally a novice at this. So that would be cool to see. Let's see if there's any other cool things in the specs that we might not have seen. Don't really care about all these other things, because I mean, they're only giving you JPEG, so there's no RAW options. 4K up to 60, 2.7K up to 100 frames per second, which is cool because you're obviously getting that 100 frames per second to the headset. That's cool. Not that I don't think they would slow the footage down for the live view, but I mean, the fact that you can go up to 100 frames per second is very cool. Maybe that wouldn't be a slow motion mode. Maybe it would literally just be 100 frames per second. Because with DJI normally they set up the slow motion option that you have to enable, so maybe that's not the case here, which is cool. And then we've got 1080p up to 100 frames per second with the FPV Goggles version 2, 4K to 60, 2.7 up to 120. So you're actually getting more if you have the FPV Goggles. There are benefits here, because we're getting 120 frames per second for both 1080p and 2.7K. So that's a major benefit. That's something that you don't get if you don't have the goggles. Just MP4, not MPV, for the video format. 150 megabits per second max bit rate. That sounds a little better. I don't know where I was seeing that 50 megabits per second. That must have been for a different mode. Standard and decine-like. Rocksteady and Horizon Steady can be disabled. It's good to know. Supports normal mode, wide mode, and ultra wide mode. So you have a few options for the distortion correction, which is cool. You can have that ultra wide mode, which I would imagine would be the 155 degree viewing angle, whatever they refer to it as. What else? So it weighs 410 grams. So if you think about like a Mavic Mini or any other mini drone from DJI, they're under 250 grams. So this thing's going to be a little heavier than a mini drone, but those mini drones are tiny and weigh nothing. So, I mean, it's still going to be a very lightweight design here. I want to know about the max speed. Here we go. Wow. Okay, that's hectic. So manual mode, 27 meters per second? Yeah, damn. That's hectic. Or 14 meters per second sports mode and 8 meters per second for normal mode. None of this is too exciting. I probably missed a few things. Anyway, I think we've covered most of it until I get it in my hands and truly test it out. That's kind of where we're at with the DJI Avata. What kind of things would you like to see? I'm going to do some videos on the channel when I get my hands on it. I think maybe a series could be really fun, seeing as I am literally a beginner FPV drone pilot, whatever you want to call it. I am in a unique position to be able to test it, hopefully in FPV mode, as long as I feel confident it's not going to crash on me and destroy itself immediately. I obviously need to do some content on it before I fully dive into that FPV mode. But that would be cool because I've got a perfect house to test it in. Like there's 2 levels to it, so I could fly up the stairs, go around, set up like an obstacle course. And then I've also been playing a bit of frisbee golf. So that could be cool as well. If I get more confident with it, I could have someone throwing a disc and I could follow them in FPV. That's hopefully where I'm planning to go to and show you what that experience is like for a beginner who's flying FPV for the first time, really. You could basically call it my first time, because the last time, like I said, I flew, it was not long and it crashed, and that was the end of that drone. So I'm keen to see how this goes. Love your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what kind of content you'd like to see on the channel. And let's wrap it up there. Again, thank you for everything. I actually do have a giveaway. I probably should have mentioned this like right at the beginning of the video. We still have 10 people watching right now. It's been 98 views in total. Thanks everyone for checking out the video and commenting. It's always hard for me to do like the live stream and check on the comments. I need to do more of a general chat with my audience. I think at some point, a live stream, that would be very cool. But I do have a giveaway coming up for the DJI Mini SE. That will be coming out probably tomorrow is when I'm going to post that video. So keep tuned to the channel, subscribe, hit that bell icon if you haven't already, and you will be notified when that video comes out. Pretty awesome giveaway to celebrate 40,000 subscribers on DansTube. So thank you so much for watching. I will chat to you in the next one. And peace. Oh, there we go. I'm in the circle. Peace. Have a good one, everyone.